Imagine retiring at the age of 41. My next guest on Mompreneur Mondays, Tisha Hammond, did just that. After having a 21-year career in law enforcement and civil rights advocacy, she took a leap of faith in 2018 and found the joy that is working for yourself full time. She's known as the Small Business Cheerleader. She is the owner of Ascent Small Business Promotions. She is a best-selling author of the Daily Devotional for Entrepreneurs, Your Season to Grow, which we're going to talk about today. And she works with individuals who are ready to transition from employee to self-employment. I'm really excited to talk to Tisha today because she has children spanning ages of married to being in school and home with her, and I really want to get her perspective today on what are some of the things that she learned when her children were young, and what are some of the things that she would advise to mothers who have children, maybe who are young, who are still at home with them, who are looking to either make this transition or have already made the transition to being an entrepreneur and really just need some guidance. So talking to a veteran mom and a small business cheerleader, I am so excited to come in. And again, I am Courtney Larvadane. I am the founder of Glow Social Media. I am a social media coach and a mom of 2 little ones under 3. And I am your host for this journey called Mompreneur Mondays, where we are surviving and thriving in motherhood, business, and beyond. So let's bring in Tisha, where you will be able to learn all about her journey, why she decided to become an entrepreneur, how she worked her side hustle, and ultimately became the best-selling author that she is today. Tisha, welcome.
Hey, thank you.
I'm so glad to have you and to see you as always. I know, virtual hugs one day. One day. It's been a long year. It's been a really long year. Well, I was just going over your amazing bio and thinking of some things that I wanted to talk to you about based on that bio. So what I like to do is start at the beginning of this chicken and the egg situation that is mompreneurship. So for you, and I gave it away a little bit when I read your bio, but for you, which came first, entrepreneurship or motherhood?
Okay. It was always there before I got pregnant, but I didn't actually flip the switch. So it was motherhood came first.
Motherhood came first. So when you started your business, and we're going to talk about a couple different phases because I love to talk about the phase of working your side hustle while you're working your job, because I think that's really important to talk about and to tell budding entrepreneurs that that's a great option. It's actually, I highly recommend it. So tell me a little bit about how you started your business, what your 9 to 5 day looked like, and then what your 5 to 9 looked like with, children and starting this new company.
I started the business, honestly, for a million reasons. There are a couple that are really top of mind. And I started the business in 2015, and my company is called Ascent Small Business Promotion, LLC. We're based in Farmington Hills, Michigan. It really started because 2014 was just a crappy year. It sucked on every level imaginable, and it's just tragic is the best way to describe it. And out of that tragedy, though, was born, hey, you only live once. You have this thing your gut is telling you have to accomplish. You're being called to do this thing here. And so the business was born really out of tragedy and needing to fulfill something for a number of reasons, partly though, Courtney, My sister passed in 2014, followed closely by my brother, followed closely by his sister-in-law, and so many other people that we love who didn't get a chance to do what they said they were going to do. I didn't want to be that, and I kept waking up like, oh, God is still giving me the day. There must be something you want me to do. Okay, that's how it got started in a nutshell. While it was getting started, I was deep into a federal government career. I had started wearing a uniform, a badge, and a gun, protecting our country here and abroad in other countries, and that morphed into serving and protecting through equal employment opportunity. So at the end of my career, the last several years were EEO counselor, and really just doing my best to be a problem solver.
Mm-hmm.
And Courtney, I started asking people who would bring me their complaints. If you weren't here, if your supervisor didn't make you sick to the stomach, if you didn't get knots on, in your stomach on your way to work, what would you be doing? And the majority of people would say that they would be in business for themselves. And one day I had to ask myself that question. What would I be doing if I weren't here? And I took a dream job. What's your dream job? Quiz. Probably found it on Facebook or something. I don't know. And there were two results. One of the results was, Tisha should go into public relations. The other was, Tisha, you should become a small business promoter. And there's so much more to that story. But from 2015, I was going, to work. Federal government, earning a real nice paycheck. I missed that paycheck, Courtney. I missed that paycheck. But I missed the paycheck because it was every 2 weeks. It was regular, count on it. And it came with some really great benefits. So essentially my 9 to 5 I was actually working from home my last 3 years while I was in the government, teleworking. And like you say, my 5 to 9, or really was like 5 to 11 p.m., trying to get my own company off the ground, which started out as a marketing company. And that didn't work well for very long. 3 years into that, I had to make a decision. I chose me.
Because the burnout happens. It's not sustainable, and it's not meant to be sustainable. I think I often will have people come to me and say, oh, well, I'm thinking about quitting my job and starting a business. I said, well, how about this? Start the business. Just start. Buy an LLC. It's $25. That's starting a business. Buy a URL, $10 for the year. That's starting a business. Because there are so many things that you realize and learn as you start a business that you don't want to quit your job and then open your computer the next day and say, oh, what am I doing here? Because there's so much you can learn and do, but you also have to see when you reach the end of the cliff and when it's time to soar on your own. And I think that's really important, and we can all learn from each other in certain ways. I was not that fortunate. I was laid off. So the next day I really had to open my computer. And like so many of us, we have, things that happen in our lives, whether it's loss of loved ones, loss of a job, where we are forced into it. But ultimately, and I know that's what you're here to do, but ultimately what we're all here to do as, entrepreneur mentors is to say, hey, learn from my mistakes. Because like you, every day I thought, man, I should work on this. I should work on this at home at night. And I never did. And then one day I'm waking up the next day with no paycheck, forced to work on it. So how much would I have loved to spend a year before that happened working through it? And I'm sure you feel the same. But COVID, I think, has provided a lot of people that same energy that you and I went through, where things have been tough. Maybe jobs have been lost. Maybe even more unfortunately, friends and family members have been lost. And so many people I know are out there with that tugging feeling like, man, I've got to make this happen. So I know that the work that you're doing is really important and integral to that. And we're going to get to the book because that is definitely the huge opportunity for everyone who's looking to get started or has started or is well into their business, because they can find some great tips and inspiration and motivation from what you've written. So tell me a little bit about your family life. Do you have children at home? How much or little do they need your assistance? How does that play into you as a business owner, mom, multimedia mogul?
Thank you. I have 5 children, Courtney. 4 of them are grown, thank you, Lord. 1 is at home, and I have multiple grandchildren. I miss my grandbabies. I don't have a chance to see them like I would normally. And I don't get to see my adult children the way I want to, because we're trying to protect one another. Thank goodness for technology.
Yes.
We have 1 at home, though, and this is her senior year in high school. Now, let me set this up. We bought her a car when she was 16 so she could enjoy some independence, so that her dad and I could get some time back in our schedules without having to take her to 18 different things to do after school and before school. And it was just, I thought we had set it up pretty well. And then March 11th comes and we find out the schools are going to be closed, and the schools have stayed closed, at least her school. So whereas she is self-sufficient, can get up and, she does grocery shopping at 7 a.m. if she wants. She can just do those things. But since March, she's been home. So the interesting thing about having a senior in high school who's doing school from home, is that not only is she working from home, my husband is working from home, my mom lives with us, I'm working from home, we're all on multiple devices. So it's not that she needs me. She needs bandwidth. She needs internet access.
Right.
And we're all pulling for the same little bit of amount. That was unexpected.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't see that one coming. But it's great.
It is. It's great. It is forcing this time together. And I think wherever we are in our families' lives, whether our children are small or about to graduate from high school, this is such a special time to be able to be forced to spend a lot more time together than we would have, because we all were running a million different directions. Even my little ones, they had their appointments and their schedules and their activities, and we were always running. And so that forced time together, I do think that we'll look back on this time and say, there was a lot of hurt and a lot of loss, and there was a lot gained from it as well.
I like that perspective, and we second and third that. It's great to have her home. I've missed out on so much because she has that independence to come and go, but now it's restricted because her life is at stake, So it's good to have her home, for real.
Yeah, that's great. So thinking back to when you had your little ones at home, what are some of the things you think about when you're talking to business owners who have young, either, grade school age or even babies, and are trying to, especially in this time where we're all kind of at home and they might need a lot of care and attention? How do you talk to entrepreneurs about how to juggle that and make it happen?
Yeah, well, first I'm encouraging women to really give themselves some grace. I know that we have broad shoulders. I know that we can fit the weight of the world on our shoulders, and we can carry it, and plus some. We're experts at that. However, we don't have to be perfect, and we don't have to do things overnight. And so I'm encouraging women lately, hey, give yourself some grace. And in fact, if you have some little ones at home that are of age where they can kind of do something for you, delegate some stuff to them and give them some buy-in to your business. Raise them up in entrepreneurship. I tell my children who have children, look, it's not babysitting. If you bring the kids to me, bring them in a little business suit. I'm going to take them to a meeting and they're going to work.
Yes.
That's just a reality. I cannot stop what I'm doing. They don't have to be hidden or put off to the side somewhere because meeting. No, I tell people this is my junior partner and they're in training. And I mean every word of that.
I love it.
So
And they like it. Just like we understand that children need to be socialized. They also, it helps children so much to be in adult environments where they're expected to, have some different tendencies than they might if they're out on the playground or in the backyard. And I do think it's really important for them to learn that. My my son, granted, he is just at the age where he is recognizing certain things and getting his language and vocabulary around him, but this year has taught him so much because he knows where mommy's office is in the house, he knows where daddy's office is, and he understands that the things that are in there belong to us and they don't want to get moved around because we might need to find something. And it's really amazing what they can learn and understand if you just give them the respect that, their little brains are big.
yeah,
And they understand what's going on. And it's, mommy's going to go in the office and work. Do you want to watch a show for a little while? And it's like, okay, we can all make it happen.
we don't have a choice really.
No.
And I know that you and I both do a lot of recordings, and I tell my guests on my show, look, if your daughter or loved one pops in, has to deliver a message or wants a kiss, don't stop that. That's it's a blessing.
Yes.
And certainly if my husband came in or one of my kids or a grandbaby came in or my mom, I'm not going to stop their show. It's just my reality.
Exactly.
And I really appreciate that that's reality right now.
And I think so many moms or, primary caregivers have appreciated that which has come from this situation this year, because everyone has had to understand that where everyone didn't have to understand that before. And it was kind of taboo, keep the children and the parents and the dogs quietly tucked away. And now everyone's, life and work have just come together.
That's all floating through the show and the dogs.
Right. And we all get it. I know that the giving yourself grace goes along with one of the other tips that you provided for our talk today, which was, give yourself permission to blank, and waiting for somebody else to validate that dream can be a dream killer. And talk a little bit about, what are some of the unexpected ways that comes up? Because I know I hear a lot that people expect, maybe your friends don't understand, or maybe your parents don't understand, but you don't realize how it can sometimes be the pressure that you put on yourself that's saying, oh, my kids are too small, I can't do this right now. Or, oh, my husband just got a promotion, he's really busy, so I shouldn't, do this right now. So what does that kind of mean to you, and how do you talk people through some of those?
Yeah, so give yourself permission to blank. What I mean by that is I'm in my second marriage, and thank God, I'm incredibly happy. Learned a lot from my first marriage. It was in my first marriage where I really tried to explore entrepreneurship first. And in that situation, I really expected my former husband to be as excited as I was about my dream. In retrospect, I find it to be pretty silly the way that I was thinking, but I was thinking, okay, we're in love, we do things together, we support one another's goals and dreams and visions. And initially I was going to open up a skating rink. And I found myself waiting for him to give me permission to do that. Now, I love to skate, roller skate. I have been to roller skating rinks around the world. I think it's one of the most amazing things you can do for your body. And I wanted to give people that experience, and I wanted it to be a family-run business. So like I had in my head, my husband was going to be the DJ or the security. Nieces and nephews will be doing this, this, and this. And I didn't get permission. And I really, something in me really thought I needed that. And I didn't do it. And I kick myself very often for that. It's a humongous disappointment that I carry around that I thought I needed validation for someone to approve of my dream. So what I tell entrepreneurs now is that your dream, the vision you have for your business, your company, your brand is a private screening. It doesn't have to be broadcast to anybody but you. You are the message. You become the broadcast. You take it and you run with it. Nobody has to carry the ball with or for you. And if they never do, oh well. And that's really what I've come to learn. So I have a business best friend forever. Her name is Dr. Tracy M. Duncan. And one of the first workshops I remember her putting out years ago was something called No Validation Zone. You don't need to be validated by anybody. Your dream is worthy on its own, on its face. And the second part to that I encourage entrepreneurs to do is to have an accountability partner. It's really my accountability partner, Regina Hall, who reminds me I don't need permission. I don't, just do it. I mean, that tagline from Nike is phenomenal in so many ways. Is applicable. I'm not rooting. They have enough people cheering for them.
Right.
But the tagline means something.
Mm-hmm.
And so finally, I also encourage my clients and entrepreneurs, if you're going to create a nickname or a tagline, make it mean something that either makes people curious or is super duper clear. I like the curiosity part because I think it encourages conversation and people being inquisitive when you leave a little bit of wonder and mystery. But certainly what people do not have to wonder about is whether they need permission from somebody, because oftentimes it's the person who's limiting their own dream.
Mm-hmm.
It's just reality.
That's true. That is so true. And I think that, I've learned this in my entrepreneurship journey. It's sometimes hardest when it's the people who know and love you, because whether it is, a parent or grandparent who, raised you, or your spouse, however loving and supportive they are, oftentimes it is those people closest to you when you are vulnerable and share that dream who go, oh, have you thought this through? Or maybe you should just, and because you trust those people so deeply, you start to question yourself, because you say, well, if my grandmother who, has raised me since I was born doesn't think, then maybe I'm wrong. And it is really important to be able to say, you know what? One, this is private. I'm going to keep it to myself and just move forward toward the goal. And two, sometimes it's actually a good sign if all those people are questioning it, because your goal should be so big that even those closest to you think, there is no way this girl is going to accomplish that. Because if your dream was so small that they go, oh yeah, then it's like, oh wait, maybe what I'm doing is playing it safe. Yeah. Do you see that a lot?
Absolutely. I see people who create goals or tell me what they have in mind, and it's totally doable. And I'm just like, well, why isn't it done? If it's doable, why isn't it done? The idea is to have a big, hairy, scary, ugly, audacious, terrifying goal. Aim for that thing. Mm-hmm. Aim for that. And when you aim for it, I've learned, Courtney, this year that there is no limit. I used to teach my girls the sky's the limit. I don't even believe that. There is no limit. There's no box. Mm-hmm. Don't you let somebody put you in a box. Your name is so-and-so. I remind my kids what their names are. Your name is so-and-so and so. Mm-hmm. You tell the world. Make sure the world knows your name. There's no box that you need to be kept in. If your idea scares me, that's fine. We can figure out a way to get to it together. And it should be scary. I'm glad you said that.
Yes. So let's talk a little bit about the book. I would like to know Double Journey. So, of course, tell everybody what the book is about and why they need to pick it up and where they can find it. And also tell us a little bit about the process of the book. What was scary? What took you a long time? What are some of the steps that you took? Because a lot of people, I believe everyone has a book in them, But a lot of people, it's right on the edge and they keep coming back to it, but don't know how to start, where to start. Tell us about some of the technical background to that too.
Okay. So the book is Daily Devotional for Entrepreneurs, Your Season to Grow. It is a 12-week guide to faith-based, profit-first entrepreneurship mindset. All right. So it's full of scripture. It's full of prayer. It's full of exploring how we can embrace God in our businesses. It's full of God is the first entrepreneur and here's why. It's full of positive and realistic messaging about being in business for yourself, exploring the idea of going into business for yourself and having a side gig or hustle. Now, because I'm the small business cheerleader, that means business consulting is blended into the pages of every devotional day. So here's what the book looks like. It has a foreword written by Dr. Dennis Kimbrough. In the back, my husband's a professional photographer, so I'm so blessed that he took the picture on the back. 230 pages. It's available on paperback and ebook on my website, tishahammond.com. 16 different major retailers in the U.S. and abroad. And it just was picked up by Waterstones Booksellers in the UK, which is the UK's biggest book-selling chain.
Oh, wow. Congratulations. That is exciting. That is very exciting.
Now, the scary part, okay. The scary part is in my mind, I was done writing this book in, let's say, about 9 months. And then I asked Dr. Dennis Kimbrough, the international best-selling author who wrote Think and Grow Rich, a Black Choice, to write the foreword. He agreed, and then I sent him an advance copy. And he calls me Sister T. He said, you know what, Sister T? Writing means rewriting. And I remembered the conversations that he and I had about how many years it took him to research and put together his books, like individually. Mm-hmm. And I was like, uh-oh. This is what I get for asking a best-selling author to
All right, some feedback.
Okay, so what transpired from there is that our family was going on a family vacation that year. And we were going to we had chosen to go to a lake house in Gaylord, Michigan. Heart Lake, I believe it was. Mm-hmm. And it was great. We had most of the kids with us, and we were going fishing and boating and all of this good stuff. And while my family was out doing all that fun stuff, I was inside rewriting. Mm-hmm. And early mornings would wake up and sit on the pier in the stillness of the morning around water, which I don't know what it is, Courtney, about water. It just does something to me. Mm-hmm. And I rewrote the book. Wow. I still have all of the original content. It'll get repurposed. Mm-hmm. But the whole aspect of rewriting and following guidance from someone I consider a mentor, a professional, a multi-time author and a bestseller also, I took the advice I didn't question it. I was just like, dang. And then I went into it. And it took another 9 months to get this book out. One of the interesting things about this book is that I have quotes from a number of different entrepreneurs around the country. I didn't want my first book to be solely related on me. So if people know who I am, if they understand what the small business cheerleader is and means, it means I am always promoting someone else. Always. That's why you hear me mention names whenever I'm in interviews. I'm not always talking about me. I'm mentioning names because these are rooms full of opportunity for my clients, for my friends, for my family. And so the book is full of quotes from others and endorsements, and all of that is highlighting their businesses as well. That made me feel complete. It made me feel like this first book was Christ-centered. People know where my foundation is. And all the other books that come out may have more to do about me. I don't know. People ask all the time, when am I going to, put a second book out? I don't know. can I sell this book? Can I sell out?
Right. Can you sell out first?
Can I sell this one, millions of copies? That's what I love. The reality is that, I'm a writer. I'm always writing. I'm looking forward to the next book. But writing the book was difficult. Publishing the book was fairly easy. Selling the book and marketing is harder than writing, if you ask.
Yeah. Yes, because that's constant. You are on the trail, basically, whether it's, virtually or in person. You are forever on the trail promoting the book and making sure, like you said, retailers know about the book and are interested in picking it up, and that those individuals are going to choose it when they go to the store. Absolutely. So then there's, the whole marketing component that comes after. I love and appreciate that story that you told, because just like anything, it's not an easy journey and it's not always a straight line. You might build your website and look at it and go, oh, or someone you trust who's an expert might look at it and say, you might want to rethink, you may need to redo, and then you're back to the drawing board. But that's not always, it's not ever the end of the story. And you always learn something in the process. And like you said, you might come up with a bunch of content that you can use somewhere else.
It didn't go to waste.
Right. So we will definitely share the links so everyone can find the devotional. I'm going to put the links in the YouTube description. And if people want to learn more about working with you and what that relationship looks like, how can they find out more about Ascent Small Business Promotion?
Well, a few ways. The first is my website, which is my name because I believe in owning your domain. So it's tishahammond.com. The second is LinkedIn company page, Ascent Small Business Promotion, LLC. And then the third is LinkedIn. Find me personally at Tisha Hammond. LinkedIn is my jam. You can find me there every day of the week like I'm doing a show. I just love the community.
Yes.
I'm really learning the benefits and features of Instagram and Facebook. And I have social media on Twitter and those other major channels as well. But I got to tell you, it's my children who help me do promotions and ads on TikTok, Snapchat, and those kind of things. I actually employ W-2, one of my children, and have encouraged and paid others to join the business because first of all, I need their talent. And I welcome their entrepreneurship, and their spirit of just excellence. I couldn't do it by myself. I depend on my family and my network and my employees to help the business thrive. And they come on, they get it done.
Absolutely. I love it. I think your next book or a subsequent book should be about the power of networking, because you are the queen when it comes to pointing people in the right direction, matching people up, all of it. So I would love to read more about that from you. Well, thank you. Tisha Hammond, the Small Business Cheerleader, best-selling author. I am so, so thankful to know you and to call you a friend. And one day, hopefully months from now, we will be able to get together and hug once again.
Hope so. Here's a virtual one.
Virtual hug. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in to another installment of Mompreneur Mondays, where we are surviving and thriving in business and beyond. I will see you next time.